All right, today what we're going to do is we're going to look at section 9.2, and we're going to do day 1, all right? We've named polynomials already, and we've added and subtracted polynomials. We are now multiplying polynomials, all right? Now, when we multiply polynomials, I do it a special way with boxes. If you remember elementary school, remember multiplying with lattice? It's very similar to lattice. Another thing that it's very similar to, when you were little, do you remember how you had a chart like this? And you had like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, and you did this. Do you remember doing that? And then it was like a hundreds chart. And you'd even go with your fingers and you would draw them together and draw them together like that, okay? This is kind of like that. Now, when you do lattice, or rather this method, you got to remember short and fat. So when you do your boxes, okay, I want them short. In fact, like you see down below, I do not want tall and skinny. Do not do it this way. You're going to have trouble when we factor, right? So do not do it tall and skinny like me. You want to do it short and fat. You want them wide, right? It's going to look better. All right. So now if you take a look at the first example, you're going to notice that there's one polynomial right there. All right. And what do we call that? If we were going to name that, what would be the first name?
The leader.
What's the exponent?
Oh, a triangle.
It's 3, so we call it a cubic. How many terms? There's one term, right? So it's a monomial. There's one term there, all right? Take a look at this next one. What would its first name be? Cubic. How many terms? There are 4 terms. Do you see that? Remember, I cut it where I see those addition or subtraction symbols. So it's 4 terms. So when I make my boxes, I want to make it a 1 by 4, meaning 1 box going up and down and 4 going wide, right? So you'll notice that the first polynomial goes out front and the other polynomial goes up above. And you'll notice it's lined up perfectly with each box, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some multiplication. So I'm going to go 3 times 2 is what? 6. And it's going to be 6x to the 6th. Okay, if you remember when we multiplied, remember when I had 3x cubed and I'd multiply it by 2x cubed? I multiplied 3 times 2 to get 6, and what did I do with my exponents? I added them. That's correct. So that's how I'm getting that. So it's a little review from what you've already had. Now on the next one, I'm going to go 3 times, what number's in front of that x squared? It's a -1. So if you need to sneak a little 1 in there, go ahead and do that. So 3 times -1 is -3, and it's x to the 5th. 3 plus 2 is 5. All right, now 3 times -7 is -21, x to the 4th. That's correct, because I got a 3 out front, and then remember this is x to the 1st. All right, 3 times -3 is -9, and it'd be x to the 3rd. Okay? And then when you're done with this, I'm going to ask you to write it out. So you're underneath it, you're going to write 6x to the 6th minus 3x to the 5th minus 21x to the 4th minus 9x to the 3rd. And that is your answer. Okay? What the boxes do is they keep everything in nice, neat compartments. So it's not all these signs and numbers all over the place, and then you get confused, and did I multiply this number by this number? And it becomes kind of a jumbled mess. Questions? All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, the first polynomial in parentheses, how many terms does it have? It's got 2, okay? The first term is x, the second term is minus 4, right? How many terms does the second polynomial have? 2. So the box that I'm going to make is a 2 by 2. 2 going one way, 2 going the other. Now, it doesn't matter which polynomial you put where. I like to do the first one out front if I have a choice. So I'm going to make this x minus 4 in the other one. The minus, of course, goes with the number, right? And up above, I'm going to put 3x, and then I'm going to put a 2. Now, if you want to put a plus with the 2, you may. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. Right? So what we're going to do here is notice that what number's in front of the x? It's a 1. So 1 times 3 is 3, and it's x to the second. See that? So 1 times 3 is 3. X to the first times x to the first is x to the second. I add my exponents, remember? All right. 1 times 2 is 2, and it's x to the first power. That's correct. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and it's x to the first. Yep. And negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. All right, now, you'll notice here that are there any x squares other than the 3x squared? No, that's the only one. But do you see how I have a negative 12x to the first and a 2x to the second? Do you see that? They're like terms. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add those. Negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10. So it's negative 10x. So we got to combine like terms. Now, you'll notice that the negative 8, is there another constant term out there? There is not. So my answer is right there. So I end up with 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. And I'm done. There's another method that you could do to multiply these. It's called the FOIL method. It's first, outer, inner, last. You can also use it if you choose to. We are not learning that today, though. I find this is the easiest and most organized. And no matter where you go, this would work. And that's why I teach it. When we factor in the next chapter, we're going to use the same method and go backwards. That's why I like this. It's the same type of method, you just move backwards. So it's really important that you want to get this. If you get this, factoring's like a breeze. It's super easy. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this one. The first polynomial has how many terms? It has 3. The second polynomial has how many terms? It has 2. So what are my boxes going to look like? It's going to be a 2 by 3, long and fat. Okay. I should say short and fat. So there's my 2, and here's my 3. Okay. So out front, I'm going to put what? 3b, and then minus 4. Notice how I line everything up. Up above, my first block, I'm going to put b squared, and then 6b, and then negative 7. If you want to put the plus in front of the 6b, you may. It doesn't do anything. The negatives do. All right, then let's take a look at this, right? 3 times 1 gives me 3, and it's going to be b to the third, because remember there's a little 1 there. So if you want to put that stuff in there, you can as we go. 3 times 6 gives me 18, b to the, it's to the second, because a 1 and a 1 make 2 for the exponents. 3 times negative 7 give me Negative 21b to the first. Okay? Questions? All right, let's go down below then. Negative 4 times 1 gives me negative 4b to the, good, squared. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24b to the first. And negative 4 times negative 7 gives me 28. Questions? Okay, now, are there any other b cubed terms? Okay, I got 3b cubed right here in the upper left-hand corner, yes? Are there any other b cubed terms? There is not, so he's fine. Are there a couple of b squared terms? Yes. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to add them. So 18 plus a negative 4 gives me 14, and it would be b squared. Yep. Are there b terms? Yeah. There's 2 of them, isn't there? Okay, so negative 21 plus a negative 24 is a negative 45b, negative 45b, right? Are there any other constant terms? No. So our answer kind of looks like a snake. It's the top left, the middle 2, and the bottom right. So I've got 3b cubed plus 14b squared minus 45b plus 28. And you're done. The key is you got to make sure you add your like terms. And I always circle my answer. It helps when you pull it out. Questions? Okay, let's do the next one. This is the last one. How many terms of the first one? 2. How many in the second one? So what kind of box am I going to make? I'm going to be a 2 by 2.
Does it matter which, like, do we have to put, like, C top square and then, like, -9 on the left side, or can we put it on the top also?
You can put, you can either do C minus 9 here, or you can put 2C plus 7 here. Doesn't matter, because it's a 2 by 2. Same with a 3 by 3. It doesn't really matter which one you put. Where it does make a difference is when you got like a 2 by 3, the 2 has to go out front. Does that answer your question? That's a good question. All right. And up above, I'm going to put then C minus 9 because I did that already, right? What number's in front of the C? A 1. Okay, so 1 times 2 is 2. So I got 2C to the second because there's exponents there, okay? What do I get in the upper right-hand corner? Negative 18C. How about lower left? 7C. Okay, it's like this. And I literally have kids, they'll use their fingers and they will follow those numbers into the correct cell. So do that if you have trouble with that. And then my last cell, negative 63. All right. Do I have some like terms? I do. Okay. And you'll notice it's right smack dab in the middle, isn't it? What's 7 plus negative 18? Negative 11. And then it would be C. And here is my answer. So I get 2C squared minus 11C minus 63. Right there, isn't it? We okay? Questions? Now, the stuff we're doing today, make sure that you study and make sure you know what to do, because tomorrow let me show you a little glimpse of what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to get something like 3x parentheses 2x minus 7 minus parentheses 2x minus 7 parentheses 3x plus 9. We're also going to do some real life things where I've got a pool like this, okay? And the dimensions of this are, 2x and x minus 3. And the dimensions of the deck outside of it is, x plus 7 by x minus 4. And they want to know what is the area of the deck. Okay, so this stuff is coming. And if you don't know how to multiply the basic stuff, when we get to the harder stuff, it's going to crash and burn. So make sure that you can do that. All right, your assignment is up on the whiteboard. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Let me know how things are going.